wide last year, and rate increases held out due to COVID pandemic, carriers, including Country Financial, are raising rates. While we can't do anything about the rate increases, we can soften the blow by revising your existing coverage to see how we can help. And remember, we offer personal service you can expect and deserve from a local agent. Come see me, Buddy Wilson, your new Country Financial agent in Clinton, where personal service is priority number one.
It's no secret that employers are having a difficult time hiring qualified personnel, whether full or part-time. The Miller Media Group wants to help you, the employer, to find the candidates you're looking for. That's why we've created IllinoisJobPost.com. That's IllinoisJobPost.com. This website is part of a broad radio and internet employment campaign available through the Miller Media Group. Contact your account manager or email sales@randyradio.com for more information. IllinoisJobPost.com is where we put the power of radio and the internet to attract prospective candidates.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in this segment of the show is Sheriff Mark Vogelzang. Good morning, Sheriff. How are you?
Good morning, Seth. I'm doing great. And you?
Doing well. Thanks for asking. Thanks for making time for us. And, Sheriff, we're going to talk about some springtime things. We'll see those. We're seeing those farm implements out on the roadways more right now. As the weather gets nicer, we need to remember to lock those vehicles to prevent, car burglaries and things like that. And we'll get to that. But I just got to say, I could go for, if we could just have like those 2 weeks earlier this month where it was just fantastic. Every day was just awesome. Maybe we saw some rain here and there, but like if we could just have that and not have to revert back to these like periods of, like half spring, half winter, that'd be just fantastic.
Absolutely. I know you and John were talking about that as well. It's been pretty crazy. I know, the farmers are always trying to get their crops in early, but I've talked to a couple here lately that they're a little worried, as they start popping up. If we get some of these frost warnings, what is that going to do to the crops? So, it's a lot of people would like to see just nice, warm weather going forward.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like a thick frost, but like there was definitely a little bit of a layer to that moisture on my vehicle this morning that had started to harden up with the freeze. But Sheriff, with that said, of course, the last few nights it's been a little cooler, so we're probably not seeing the foot traffic out, and getting into the crime of opportunity phase that we see during the spring. But let's just set out those reminders for folks as well. Crimes of opportunity are a big thing during the spring and the summer, but it really ramps up in the spring with the nice weather, folks getting back out. What do you have for us there?
Absolutely. It's the burglars seem to always be out, rain or shine, warm or cold. But yeah, with the warmer weather, you have more foot traffic out there. And I know we say it a lot, but you can't say it enough. Just little things like locking your car doors at night, whether it's at home in your driveway or when you go to the mall, make sure nothing's in plain sight in your passenger compartment. Locking your garage and using your yard lights, your camera systems. We see so many people that have the camera systems anymore. Make sure you guys are utilizing that. There's some great evidence. It helps not only prevent crimes, but oftentimes gives us that lead we need when there is a burglary. But then also, just kind of looking out for each other. If you see something that looks suspicious, give your local law enforcement a call. Watch out for your neighbors and their residents. If something doesn't look right or somebody that isn't normally supposed to be at that house, don't just turn a blind eye. Look into it and maybe call your local law enforcement.
For sure. And Sheriff, when it comes to just the crimes of opportunity, sometimes we, and I know talking with other law enforcement officials around the area, a lot of times like that gets conflated for, like break-ins and, actual, crimes where the victim has had their vehicle like window smashed and broken into, but rarely, from what I understand, do those things happen. It's largely, like we've said already, crimes of opportunity.
Absolutely. I mean, there's times that you do see the windows broke, but more often than not, I'd say probably at least 90% of the time, it's a simple door that's left unlocked, and the car burglars are walking around trying to find that easy cash or items to steal with minimal noise.
Absolutely. So, Sheriff, as it relates to, those crimes of opportunity, do we see anything else other than like burglaries to vehicles, maybe the occasional house burglary, things of that nature? Do we see anything else besides those things?
Yeah, usually, you see some residential burglaries. We've been very fortunate, I think, in our community. But, again, it just kind of goes back to the same thing with car burglars. If you see somebody milling around a house that, shouldn't be there, investigate and or call your local law enforcement and hopefully prevent a crime.
Sheriff, when it comes to, like we've seen kind of an increase in those doorbell cams where you've got the
Mhm.
they're right there at the front door. They can really catch a lot of things. How much have those helped? Maybe whether it's curb the crimes of opportunity or even getting evidence to catch those individuals. How much have those helped you and your agency over the years?
Oh, it's been a huge help. And like I said, a lot of times, I think there is a preventative aspect of it, knowing that somebody's going to be caught on video, whether it's them and or a vehicle that's captured on this video. But as a burglar does it, maybe he may not hit one house, but another house will capture that footage as well. So it's been a huge help to us.
Sheriff, when it comes to again those spring issues, we'll also start to see motorcycles out as we shift away from crime and we talk other spring things. We'll start to see motorcycles out. I know those 2 weeks we talked about where it was just fantastic outside. The motorcycles were up and down the streets. You can hear them, running the engines, revving the engines, all those things. Obviously, let's talk motorcyclists and just being aware of those individuals that are on the road. How about that?
Absolutely. In my 25, 26 years, I've seen a lot of tragic accidents. There was one time that I was leaving the Champaign Police Department and commented to a good friend of mine, another officer, that he had a nice new motorcycle helmet. And about 10 minutes later, I was following him down Route 45 there by Monticello Road and saw it coming. It was a gentleman that was turning on to Route 45 and did not see Jim riding his motorcycle. So Jim ended up having just to lay his motorcycle down in the street. Fortunately, suffered no serious injuries, but did have some minor road rash. So just giving that extra time, double checking at those intersections, and really paying attention to that motorcycle, because a lot of times it is really hard to see them coming.
Mm-hmm.
Not tailgating a motorcyclist. The other thing too is, as our grass continues to grow right now, I'm sure your yard's like mine. It's growing very, very fast. And as you mow, if you do have a yard that is next to a road, please don't throw that grass out on the roadway. It does make it very, very slick for those guys that are driving the motorcycles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think other that we've seen a big push for over the years is put the cell phone device down while you're on the road, and particularly when you encounter a motorcyclist. I know you lose focus. It pertains to all areas of travel, but you lose focus for 1 second, and Lord knows you can end up in a terrible situation with that.
Absolutely, we shouldn't be on those cell phones anyways. But then, in addition to even motorcyclists, we're seeing a lot more bicyclists out on the road, whether they're training for something, kids riding their bikes. We've got Cycle Across Illinois. It's a fundraiser for fallen officers. I know there's a lot of fellow officers right now that are training for that. So you'll see a lot more bicyclists out in the roadway and or just pedestrians walking with this warmer weather.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one glance down at your phone and you'll have that bicyclist out there and in front of you, and potential have tragic accident.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you bring up a good one with the bicyclists as well. And I don't know what Piatt County communities look like, but are golf carts, are they legal in parts of Piatt County, Sheriff?
They are, especially in the city of Monticello. So you will see a lot more of those out and about. Again, they are not near as fast, and it doesn't take but a second to come up on one of those. Again, if you're looking down or not paying attention, it's easy to have an accident.
No doubt at all. So again, our guest on the phone today, Piatt County Sheriff Mark Vogelzang, joining the program here for this morning. Sheriff, a few minutes yet still before we head to break. Let's talk farm implements, because like I mentioned, we'll see those out and about as well. And those are ones you definitely want to give plenty of space. And if you're going to pass, you want to make sure that coast is clear. How about those farm implements we're encountering this time of the year?
Absolutely, and like we were talking, with the nicer weather, you're going to see a lot more of them pushing to get all their crops in. And once those are in, you're going to continue to see the large sprayers out on the roadway. And it is hard. These are machines that are hundreds of thousands of dollars and very, very wide. It's hard for them at times to get over due to signs along the side of the road or mailboxes or these steep embankments on the sides of the roads. They just don't have much room to get over and allow people through. So absolutely be very, very careful with those.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Sheriff, anything else as it pertains to springtime safety? Did I not mention things that you want to put out there for us today?
Nope, just get out, enjoy the nice weather, but be safe.
Absolutely. Sheriff, where do folks go to follow along with your department and all the happenings? I know we'll talk some job opportunities within your department and staffing things. Where do folks go to maybe follow along with that?
You can either go to our Facebook page or we do have a website as well.
That is, again, Piatt County Sheriff Mark Vogelzang on the phone with us here this morning. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. More to come on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Hi, I'm Dave Jackson, owner of your Save-A-Lot store in downtown Clinton, here to talk to you about our great meat department. When buying meat for your family, ask yourself if it's cut fresh. Are the meat cutters in the store well trained? Our meat staff has over 100 years of combined experience. At your Clinton Save-A-Lot, we take pride in having the best meat department in the area. Plus, we'll save you as much as 40% or more on your total food bill. Experience what really fresh can be by shopping at your Clinton Save-A-Lot. Hope to see you soon.
I'm Len Casper, the voice of the White Sox Radio Network. Follow the Sox across central Illinois on the Big 1520 WHOW.
Sponsored by Baum Chevy Buick, Clinton Community YMCA, Covenant Animal Clinic, Jason France, your State Farm insurance agent, Midstate Eye, and Nan Krang with Remax Choice, the 217 home team, all in Clinton.
The SIU Center for Family Medicine in Lincoln is accepting new patients. They accept most insurance plans. They also take individuals with no insurance. Their family physicians are trained to manage and treat the vast majority of medical problems and coordinate treatment with other providers and specialists. To learn more, go to siumed.org or call 217-735-2317 or click their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Forward for happy, healthy families. That's SIU Center for Family Medicine in Lincoln.
Let's swing open the farm gate together every day on WHOW. I'm Stu Ellis, your host of the long-running agriculture feature called The Farm Gate. I bring the latest news and information on where agriculture is and where it's going to WHOW Ag listeners several times a day. From tariffs to treaties, from the Board of Trade to the running board on your truck, I cover Central Illinois agriculture every day on The Farm Gate. Hear it all on WHOW's many platforms, on the radio or online. Join me, Stu Ellis, for The Farm Gate.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. My guest on the phone, Sheriff Mark Vogelzang, joins the program. Sheriff, as we talk about the Sheriff's Department, I know you are looking for some folks to fill some needs in hiring. How about that? What's available in your office right now?
Absolutely. I think the biggest need for us are correctional officers. We have 1 to 2 spots that are open currently, so that would be probably our main focus. We do have a deputy that's had been here about 32 years now, so he'll be retiring end of June. So we'll be looking to hire to fill his spot. That'll be big shoes to fill.
Absolutely, absolutely. How have you found the hiring process to be for your staff? I mean, are you struggling to find folks? When you do find them, are they responsive and timely in whether it's coming to work and all those things? Like, what are you finding there?
Absolutely. I think for the deputy's position, we've been very fortunate. We've been fully staffed for the most part. We've been very lucky to find and hire some good lateral applicants, which is nice to have somebody that's coming in and already been working as a police officer or a deputy, which really helps in the training time. But it's the correctional officer positions that we've struggled to fill.
Mm-hmm. When in terms of just finding those positions, I mean, what lengths have you had to go to find individuals to fill those roles?
There's a lot of different job sites online, but we haven't really had a lot of success with those. A lot of the people that we hire tend to be our local citizens. So it's been really helpful to have our staff and reaching out to those that we know in the community to try and find good candidates and have them referred that way. That's where we've had most of our success.
Well, and that's advantageous because those individuals know your community. Perhaps the community knows them. I feel like that's a good, that's something good that would be going on there.
Absolutely, yeah. It's great to see our citizens get involved and hired by our department.
Absolutely. And Sheriff, we talk about, challenges facing facing law enforcement for the day. I mean, it's not just hiring that is challenging. I know we were talking about like vehicle fleets and making upgrades and updates to those that is also becoming somewhat of a challenge because of the issues of supply chains and, workforces and other, other aspects of society. How about that?
Absolutely. Our fleet is so important to have good vehicles that can get us safely to where we need to go. And it's something that departments across the country have struggled with the supply chain issues. Usually we're ordering vehicles and they're almost to a year or so out before we can get them outfitted and back into the fleet. So it's one of those that you really have to plan a ways out. There's some other vehicles such as our corrections van that we'd really like to replace, but it's hard to find certain types of vehicles that would be like a Ford Transit van, and those are just very, very hard to come by. A lot of times we're buying fleet vehicles. State of Illinois has fleet pricing, but a lot of these vehicles are just going into the commercial market because of the price of them. They're able to get a better price for the vehicles in that area. So a lot of times we're having to kind of deviate from the state pricing and go and pay the regular price for one of those vehicles.
Yeah.
If we can find them.
If you can find it, yeah. I mean, it's like any other vehicle right now. I mean, it's so hard to come by. Used cars right now are such a, like such a commodity, And so when it comes to like how that's impacting your current fleet, I mean, what's going on there? I mean, are you seeing cars, in the shop more because they're just getting old and those miles are adding up? How is that impacting your current fleet?
No, it's one of those that, we've really tried to stay on top of it and plan ahead because if you don't, you are going to see those vehicles in the garage, out of service, and then your maintenance costs will continue to increase. So all in all, we've been very fortunate. And like I said, our county board's been very good. We've got funding to plan ahead and try and stay on top of those issues before they become a problem.
Yeah, so it's like one of those things like you're a year out from needing to put an order in, but because of the issues you're seeing, you're just going to put that order in a year ahead of time and know that by the time it does get to you, that's when you'll need it. Is that kind of the way that works?
Absolutely. And, it's so important because, being in the county, our guys are traveling decent distances. And obviously, depending on the type of call, on an emergency call, they have to drive a little bit faster to get there. And you want a vehicle that's safe and gets them there to help whatever that emergency might be.
Yeah. Now remind us, Sheriff, what communities in Piatt County are you currently providing law enforcement services for?
Well, we cover everything in Piatt County, but we are doing a contract with Cerro Gordo. So there is a deputy that is assigned to Cerro Gordo for 40 hours a week. But then we also contract with the school district to provide a school resource officer to each of the schools. Well, there's one officer, and she rotates around the county to the different schools and spends time at those.
Gotcha. Very good. So, Sheriff, as we wind down our time together, again, Piatt County Sheriff Mark Vogelzang on the phone with us. I know that you have been working on other upgrades within your department. I think radios were one of those, radio signals, better communication devices, and those sorts of things. What's the latest with some of those efforts, Sheriff?
Yeah, some of those bigger projects, they just take time, and they never happen as fast as we want, but we're waiting on a grant through Department of Justice for our radio upgrades. Hopefully that will come through sometime in September, and looking to find a vendor for the surveillance system within the jail. So some of those things, like I said, bigger projects, they just take some time.
For sure. So, Sheriff, and down the road, what are you looking at? I mean, what's kind of next on your radar for updates and upgrades? What's kind of coming up that you're going to have to start looking at?
I think outside that, it's really working on training. That's so important to continue to build better, safer tactics through the training. And we got some firearms qualification training coming up. We just did some force-on-force training. Very fortunate. We got an NRA grant to provide some additional funds for the ammunition. We've got dispatchers that are going to additional training to get a new product there to help with fire dispatching. So a lot of training going forth.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's another thing, when you've got when you're understaffed a little bit, I mean, that impacts everybody, because you've got to take those folks off of either their regular shifts and put them into training, and you've got to pull somebody from their other shift, or you've got to, take them away from their time off and have them do that training. So when you're understaffed, it certainly impacts those things.
It does, and it just starts to, you have to be a little creative, try and get some stuff done on shift where that allows, but then again, some of it's just going to happen to be on overtime or as time allows. For sure.
Again, Sheriff, how do folks keep up with the things going on in your department and your in Piatt County? Where do they find you?
Facebook or our website would be the two best locations.
Sheriff, always good to talk to you, sir. Thanks for making time for us. Piatt County Sheriff Mark on the phone with us. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. Again, the morning show streams live online all the time as well at DeWittDailyNews.com. Network news on the way.